Hi there, I'm Jocelyn Metzger with Sunshine Therapeutics and the Voyage to Heal. This morning, I woke up as I went to bed with my ears all congested and my head all congested and hurting. And I realized there's a few factors coming into play here that I'm going to share with you and then take you through what am I doing to relieve the pressure in my head and in my ears using both lymphatic drainage and myofascial release, which are, the core to the things that I love dearly, as well as listening to my body and talking to my body and letting go of what's causing all of this tension in my body. So there's three factors that are playing into here. And the first one, of course, is just the climate of what's going on right now with the virus. But also, I've been dealing with a lot of the depression of not only just the change in the life routine, but having lost my incredible horse. And, I realized when I get stressed, I first want to clean, I want to organize, get everything into place. That's my controlling factor. But when I get depressed, I want to eat because food brings me happiness. And, I realized when you are emotional and you are crying a lot more, your sugar levels drop. And so your body just wants to eat more sugar. It wants to replenish what we have lost because our cortisol levels have dropped. And so I normally avoid sugar because it inflames my body and it makes my allergies worse. But when I'm depressed, I just want to gravitate to that, and I will eat all the vegetables, all, crackers or whatever I can, but my hunger isn't satisfied until I have that sugar, because my body is saying you need that in order to feel better. So, Ghirardelli dark chocolate chips have been a little bit too well consumed. So that sugar has inflamed my body, and that has added extra pressure on top of the stress that's going on. And it's the spring. So it's allergy season, which means innately I get that inflammation in my body anyways, just from all of the extra pollen and everything that's going on in the air. So that combination is definitely not good on my body, causing more pressure in my head. And then we had the full moon last week, and in a blog post last August, I talked about how those pressures of the moon and where it is, in relation to the earth and how much is showing, it really does cause increased pressure. As if you watch the ocean tide as it comes in and goes out, the same thing happens to our body because our body is water. And so I'm feeling that extra pressure. And on top of it, this is blunt honesty, it is that time of the month for me. And when it's that time of the month, your body swells anyways. And between the stress and the depression and that increased pressure in the moon, the increased pressure of it being that time of the month, my hormones are really off because I'm more stressed, because I'm feeling depressed. And that is all adding to that extra pressure of our body. And I know, guys, it's like, okay, she just told me she's that time of the month. That's sort of intimate to me, at least. But I share this with you, and women, I share this with you as well, because we oftentimes don't want to admit when we're in that moody stage that our period is really affecting us like that. And we're not as tolerant, we're more depressed, we're a little more angry. And then it's like when you're having a surge of testosterone. Remember back when you were a teenager, and thank God for sports, because that's your outlet. That's that competitive physical edge of getting out that testosterone so that it's not used in other ways of fighting and, just that anger. And but when you have those hormonal shifts, and men, you get it as well. Men PMS just like women do. They just don't want to admit it, just like we don't want to admit it, but it affects our body. And then all that pressure comes in. So I've got the allergy season going on, the depression, and I'm eating more sugar, and I've got the hormonal imbalances. on top of this whole big life change because of the COVID-19. So what am I going to do about it? Am I going to be like crabby and moody and cry myself to sleep? Well, and I will tell you, a couple nights ago, I was just missing my speckles like crazy. And I did. I gave myself some space. The husband slept downstairs. I got to sleep in the bedroom and I had a really good cry. And I just talked to my speckles. And though I went to bed really sad, getting that out really helped me out. Just like in last week's blog post, there was a little snippet about the fire-breathing dragon. And last August, I had a lot of stress and I had one little verbal outburst and dang, I felt much better. So last couple nights ago, I had a good cry and I did feel a lot better not holding that in. Because when we hold stuff in, sort of like right now, it just builds up and it causes pain and illness, and we got to get that out. So I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've done to try to relieve the pain and the pressure in my ears and all over my head, and hopefully this will help you just the same. And I'm not going to lie, yes, I did take an allergy pill because I feel like there has to be a balance between what we physically can do and then we have the medicines. And right now I'm at that point where my body needs a break. So I'm going to do the things that I'm going to show you right now, but I'm also going to help my body and give it what it needs. All right, God gave us both alternative and traditional medicine. We should use them both. So to start off with, we're going to do some lymphatic drainage of the neck and the head. And with that, I'm going to step just a little closer so you can see me. I'm going to put my hand right above my collarbone, which is right here on the skin. And I'm going to do some circles in towards the neck and then soften. Because we're trying to move any trapped fluid in the neck towards the heart. So we only want to give a little bit of a pressure towards the heart. And we always start in this area right at the base of the neck because we want to open that space up in order for fluid to drain. And I do that, they say 8 to 10 times, but there are times when I do this so many more until I feel things soften and release in this area. And you're going to notice that you're going to instantly start to feel things draining. And I did this last night before I went to bed, and it definitely helped to relieve some of that sinus pressure and congestion in that area. You can do this laying down. I'm just doing it standing up because that's how I'm videotaping it. And then I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to do the same thing. And I do have a whole series of self-lymphatic drainage available on the website. If you go to sunshinetherapeutics.com and you click on the manual lymphatic drainage, there's about three or four videos that will take you through doing lymphatic drainage of the whole body. And it is just so beneficial. Keep your immune system going, keep that fluid flowing, feels good. Sometimes tension isn't caused by a tight muscle, it's caused by trapped fluid. So that's why right now the pressure in my ears and my head is caused by trapped fluid. So that's why we're doing the lymphatic drainage. And it is a very superficial. It's, just like moving the skin. Then I'm going to put both hands on either side of my neck. And I'm going to do circles, back and down, release, back and down, release. I'll turn to the side so you can see that. And this is not a massage. It's just moving the skin because those lymphatic vessels are right below the surface of the skin. So if you press too hard, you're going to smush them and you're not going to move any fluid. As I said, you can do this as many times as you want till you feel the area soften, which you will feel that area soften. And then I'm going to put my fingers on my ear like this, circling around. And notice my thumb, if I move up close, is right behind my jawline, right at the base of my ear. And we're going to go around. Pressure back and down, release. Back and down, release. Back and down, release. And you know, this feels so good, especially since I had all that pressure in my ears. And I'm also doing a bit of the pressure right at the temples. Like, how many times do we rub our temples when we have a headache? And it feels better because we're getting fluid flowing. And so this is like a double lymph drainage, because we're not only getting behind the ear where there's a lot of lymph vessels that need to drain, but we're also getting right at those temples where there are lymph vessels. And oh, this feels so good that I could just keep doing it forever and ever. And you just feel free to do the same. All right, and then I'm going to put my hands in my hair, which means I'm going to end up having a really great hairdo afterwards, but I'm just going to rub my scalp. And I'm moving the skin on my scalp. It's not actually a massage. And you can see as I walk up really close here, okay, that I'm also once again getting into those temporals. And this, oh, once again, it just feels heavenly to do. And rule is 8 to 10 times, but if it feels good, keep doing it. Now, nothing is better than having somebody do this for you. Oh, I know how good it feels when I get to do this to a client, when I actually get to see people again. And it feels good just to do to yourself. And then you can go, as I said, great hairdo afterwards. You can go to the back of your head and do that same movement with your thumbs right at the base of the skull and just circle around. And I can already start to feel things drain and feel better. And as with anything, I really do listen to my body to let it guide. Like, how many circles do I need to do? Well, as many as my body needs. Then I may take these thumbs and just do a little circle back here, out and down, release, out and down, release. And I tilt my head up just a little bit because that'll soften this area so that you can get in there. And this one, I do a little bit firmer pressure just because there are so many muscles that attach at the base of your skull that you really do need that. And it feels so good. There's a lot of fluid that can get trapped right here. And that's why one of our stretches is going to be releasing the back of the skull. So that's just a very basic lymphatic drainage that you can do. Now we're going to stretch this area. So once again, we've done this before. I'm going to grab my arm behind my back, do a gentle little pull down and tilt my head away. If I can't grab that, I may just put a strap over my shoulder here and hold on there and there as I tilt my head away. And you just find, move your head around till you find that spot that it's like, wow, that just opens up. You know, it's like we want to open up this whole area here and back here so that we can allow that fluid to flow and soften. And much of what I'm doing here, you know, if you're struggling, if you're having a rough go and you can't figure out how to make it work so that you feel better, call me, text me, email me, or whoever your healthcare professional is that maybe you used to go on a regular basis to see somebody and right now you can't, whether it's because of the virus or because you're sick or transportation, whatever. But this has been such an awesome, awesome opportunity for a lot of us healthcare professionals that were just treating clients when they were in our treatment room or office. Now we're realizing that this telehealth communication is just so valuable to helping guide you with simple suggestions or stretches. And So don't feel like you're alone and you just need to suffer until you can see your healthcare professional again. Give them a call and see how a video chat goes and just brainstorming ideas with them over the phone. As in our last blog post, I talked about that, you got to let go of the control of the way things used to be so that you can try another way. Now I want you to roll your head the other side, and we're going to place that strap, which you can use a towel. Oh, that feels so heavenly. You can use a towel, you can use a belt. I'm using a yoga strap. And, just to give you the full view here. All right, so it's not so much strain on my arm reaching behind me. I just do that gentle pull. I never want to work hard because the object is for my body to soften and let go. And if I feel like this area is really softening, it's really letting go, I may turn my head. Oh, there's that little bit of that glance down gets right at the base of the skull there. And it's amazing how much different my head feels just in this short amount of time of doing these stretches. And oftentimes I get that question, how long do I hold this for? Well, that's why we have our inner guide to let us know how long we should hold this stretch for. And you may notice things soften and you gain more range of motion. You may notice a change in your breath, change in your thoughts. Your eyes may flutter, indicating tissue memory. You may just get a feeling like, okay, this is enough. Or your inner guide may say, hey, why don't you look down towards the floor a little bit more? Just try to ignore your ego that says, don't you think you've held this long enough now? Let's go. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's go, go, go. Because your inner guide tells you to slow down, to listen and feel. You may also notice belly sounds as you're digesting. You may notice that you just get sleepy. You may notice that your mind goes completely clear. To not be thinking, thinking, thinking. Not a bad thing. So we're going to roll our head down. If you feel a nice stretch with this, go ahead and hold that. If you feel some pressure with this, just hold it there. You can always even put your hands on the back of the neck and just do this upward motion. I'll turn around in the back. Down. Sort of hard for you to see that. Oh, that's the ticket. See, now I even get a nice back stretch in there. Because women, when you have that period and everything is swollen in your pelvic area, that lower abdominal area, oh, your back can start to really feel it. And you may feel weakness in the area, some discomfort. And I mean, that's all just part of that hormonal shift and that swelling in our body as we release a lining that we don't need, right? As we let go of things. So now we're going to come down to the floor and we're going to release the back part of the neck. And for that, I've got either my releaser ball or my foam roller. Right now, I feel like I need my foam roller. But if you don't have a foam roller at home, grab a rolled up towel. You can use that. And you could wrap that towel around a rolling pin if you have it, or a pool noodle, which you can get at the stores now. Or you can use your squishy little releaser ball. I don't tend to like, tennis balls or golf balls, but just listen to your body. If That's what feels good. I want you to listen to your body. Don't ever go aggressively and don't use a lot of force. But and you can put your feet up on a chair. I'm a little further away from my chair than I want to be, but that rocks the pelvis back. So it's a nice stretch. And I'm just going to relax my head. I'm going to start by rolling back and forth, just massaging that area. As I said, there's two areas that fluid likes to get trapped. One is behind the base of the ear, and the other is at the base of the skull. And I may get a little visit from my hurricane here, my little doggie. She's gonna come and love on me. That's pet therapy right there. So I don't always. There was a time when I just wanted to lay on the floor and be able to stretch, and my dogs would just not let me not let me stretch. And now I welcome when she walks up to me and gives me kisses and loves on me. Uh, yeah, so we'll hang out. And I'm finding right at the base of my skull, a little bit to the left is really tight. So I'm just gonna melt into that point right there and breathe. Once again, how long do you hold the stretch? As long as you need. And the other area, once we're done releasing at the back of the skull, is the chest. I find that when you release the chest, main portal to getting rid of all that fluid, which gets filtered by the lymph nodes and then goes back into the heart as it's cleaned, and we got waters and proteins that then get sent out through the rest of the body. When you open up the chest, it really does allow for all of that as well. So we'll use the rolled up towel or the foam roller, whatever you have to release the chest. But oh, this feels so good. Just to hold the space right here. And now you get to see, what do I do when my body says it needs attention? So I acknowledge how I feel. I do what I have to. If I need to take a medicine, there's no shame in doing that. And then I stretch and I slow down and I listen. I'm going to do a check on the right side to see how that feels. And that side actually feels pretty good. It was this left side that was really giving me some of the grief. And now I'm just going to turn the foam roller. And there are so many awesome, awesome foam rollers out there. Mine is a bit firmer because I've built up to it. I'm going to scoot it down a bit because I can get right at the base of this foam roller with the back of my skull. Oh, that feels heavenly. And do a little bit of traction and a little bit of release right in that occiput region. And just open my back up. I do keep my knees bent. Okay, you can't see it, but my knees are bent just to keep it easier along my spine. But there are soft foam rollers, there are half foam rollers. I do like the really long foam roller so that I can lay on it like this and my full back is supported and I'm not in a lot of lumbar extension. It doesn't work as well on like a yoga pillow, one of those bolsters. It does work, but I like the narrowness of I do like the narrowness of the foam roller. Oh, that left side when I use the base of this. Oh, It feels heavenly. And your body may tell you it wants something else. That's fine. You're going to get, when you listen and you feel, the puzzle of your body starts to be revealed, and you'll go from one place to the next to the next. And I had a client that I did a consult with the other week. Last couple weeks we've touched base just for a half hour, and it started off with his knee pain, but when I looked at him standing, his foot was turned out. So we evaluated, it was probably something going on in his hip or his pelvic area, his L5S1 area. And so we started treating the hip and doing some pelvic stretches, some piriformis stretches, as well as changing some of his postural things. And his knee pain went away, but he was getting some hip pain. And then he said all of a sudden, everything went away and everything felt fine. But as he was transitioning and changing the positions of his body, it was, at first his body was like, no, this is not how we're supposed to be. So, yeah. So that's just one of the options that you can do. And feel free to always bring your pet along as part of your therapy and love on them. All right. So thanks so much for joining me today, and Godspeed on your voyage to heal. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.